Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, today we'll be covering the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In ancient Iraq, the city of Mosul covered many towns. The largest of these towns was Nineveh. It was a town which had many of Allah's favors. The gardens were green and fruitful. The rivers flowed around it. The people drank from the rivers and watered their lands. The cattle and goats also drank from them. The animals filled their stomachs with food. The people got meat and milk from them. There was so much goodness in Nineveh. The people of Nineveh did not think that they should thank Allah for these bounties. They denied Allah and worshipped idols and stars. They were fixed on their disbelief. Allah chose a pious man from amongst them. He used to worship Allah and did not deny Him. This man was Yunus bin Matta. They used to know his truthfulness, good manners, and nobility amongst his people was famous. Yunus alayhi salam went to call the people of Nineveh to worship Allah alone and not worship the stars and idols. There were 120,000 people living in Nineveh. Yunus alayhi salam was all alone. Not one of those people believed in him. Yunus alayhi salam reminded them of Allah and His favors upon them. The earth giving fruits, the rivers giving water, the animals giving milk for the young to drink, and meat for the adults to eat. Allah gave them all those good things. Why then should they not worship Him alone? The stars are but creations of Allah. They should worship He who created them. Idols are statues which could not benefit or harm. They could not hear or speak. With what mind can someone worship these statues which could not benefit or harm? His people stayed on their disbelief. In fact, their disbelief increased. They mocked Yunus alayhi salam. He started warning them about Allah's punishment and anger. Whenever he warned them, they disbelieved in him and mocked him. Allah revealed to Yunus alayhi salam that he should warn them about his punishment. Yunus alayhi salam warned them and told them that the punishment was going to come down in 3 days. His people did not listen to him. Yunus alayhi salam gave up hope that his people would believe. He was very sad. However, he did not wait for Allah's revelation. He gave up on his people and left Nineveh. One day passed after Yunus alayhi salam had made his promise. On the second day, the people noticed that he was gone and started looking for him. They could not find him. On the third day, they saw the signs of the punishments about which Yunus alayhi salam warned them. There were black clouds floating above their heads. There was no doubt that that was the punishment and anger of Allah. Where was Yunus alayhi salam so that they could believe in him? He had left them and their city. They all went out and wished that Yunus alayhi salam was with them. They all went out into the streets and humbled themselves to Allah. They called out their repentance. The mothers wept bitterly, the men shouted, the children cried. Even the animals were sad. It seemed that they were also crying when they saw the punishment coming. The people of Nineveh repented with sincerity and Allah lifted the punishment from them. All of them believed in Allah and asked forgiveness for their sins. They asked Allah to return to them the pious man, Yunus bin Matta alayhi salam, who had left their city in despair. Yunus alayhi salam had left Nineveh when he gave up hope of his people believing. He was a Nabi and would have waited for Allah's permission to leave. He left before direct permission was given. Yunus alayhi salam waited at the seashore and found a ship ready to sail. He asked the sailors if he could sail with them, and they agreed. The people on the ship saw that Yunus alayhi salam offered much salah and remembered Allah often. They realized that he was a Nabi and loved him very much. They did not allow him to do any work on the ship. Instead, they served him. When they were in the middle of the sea, the waves started rising and banging against each other. The waves started to hit the ship. The ship was heavy, so they started to throw out lots of stuff. They needed to lighten the ship. They now had no choice but to throw one of the passengers into the sea. Although that person would drown, if they did not throw him, they would all drown. The captain said that they would draw lots. The name of Yunus alayhi salam came out in this lot. they had to throw him in the sea. But they could not do that to a Nabi of Allah. They drew lots a second time. Again, Yunus alayhi salam's name was drawn. How were they going to throw the pious man into the sea? They drew lots for a third time, and again it was Yunus alayhi salam. They were all sad, so Yunus alayhi salam threw himself into the sea. Everyone was sure he was going to die as the ship sailed far away. Yunus alayhi salam fell into the sea and waited to die. A big fish then came and swallowed him. Yunus alayhi salam stayed in the fish's stomach. When Yunus alayhi salam saw that he was still alive, he fell into sajda in thanks to Allah. He said, "O my Rabb, I have bowed to you in a place where nobody bowed to you before." The fish swam in the deep sea with Yunus alayhi salam in its stomach. Yunus alayhi salam could hear the stones and fishes praying Allah. He knew now that Allah did not like that he left Nineveh without permission. His eyes flowed with tears, and he said, "There is no God but you. You are pure. Indeed, I am of the wrongdoers." Yunus alayhi salam called out to Allah from several darknesses. The darkness of the sea, the darkness of the fish, and the darkness of the night. The angels in the heavens heard Yunus alayhi salam calling out again and again, "There is no God but you. You are pure. Indeed, I am of the wrongdoers." The angel said to Allah, "O our Rabb, we hear a weak voice from a strange place." Allah replied, "That is Yunus, whom I put in a fish's stomach in the sea." The angels asked, "Yunus, the pious slave who did good deeds day and night?" "Yes," he said. The angels begged Allah on behalf of Yunus alayhi salam, and Allah accepted. He commanded the fish to throw Yunus alayhi salam out of its stomach onto the land. Yunus alayhi salam was thrown onto the earth. Allah made for him a gourd tree. He was sick and his body was weak, like a chick without feathers. Yunus alayhi salam ate from the gourd and sat in its shade. He thanked Allah for saving him from the trouble that he was in. When he became healthy and strong again, Allah ordered him to go back to Nineveh. He went back, and the 120,000 people believed in him. Allah accepted the repentance of all of them. Insha'Allah, now we'll talk about some beneficial lessons to take from the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. Number 1, to believe in Allah alone without partners and to believe in His messengers. Number 2, thank Allah for His favors by believing and praising Him. Number 3, repentance removes punishment and Allah's anger. Number 4, do not be in a hurry for your dua. Be patient upon Allah's command. Number 5, pious deeds and worship will make people love you. Number 6, Allah has power over everything. Number 7, everything praises Allah, even the stones and fish. And number 8, dua and istighfar removes punishment. Alhamdulillah, we have completed the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. Inshallah, in the next session, we'll be beginning the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.